Welcome to Planetarium Dreams, a quiet place for deep rest, gentle wonder, and slow journeys through the universe. This channel is made for stillness, for peaceful nights, and for moments when awareness begins to soften. Here, we explore space without urgency, moving slowly, allowing each thought to drift away. If these calm journeys bring you comfort, you are softly invited to become a member of the channel, to support Planetarium Dreams, and to unlock extended voyages designed for uninterrupted sleep. But for now, there is nothing you need to do. Let your breathing slow naturally. Feel the surface beneath you and allow your thoughts to grow distant. Tonight, let us drift across silent plains and ancient dust to visit a quiet, distant world. Mars. Remain exactly as you are. Your body is already settling, supported without effort, breathing slow and quiet. There is no need to focus on the words. They can drift gently through awareness, like distant light moving across a dark sky. Mars appears slowly, not suddenly, not dramatically. At first, it is only a faint presence, a small reddish glow against the vast darkness of space. It does not call for attention. It waits. As you drift closer, the red world grows larger, clearer, more defined, yet still quiet. There are no bright lights here, no movement that demands awareness, only wide silence and ancient stillness. Mars does not rush to greet you. It has been here for billions of years. It knows patience. As awareness softens, imagine approaching the planet gently, without engines, without sound. There is no sensation of speed, no sense of direction, only a gradual nearness. The surface comes into view slowly. Rust-colored plains stretch endlessly beneath you, vast and open, calm and undisturbed. The land shows no sign of hurry, no mark of recent change. Everything feels settled. Mars is a planet shaped by time, not by noise. Wind moves softly here, shaping the dust over centuries, not moments. Storms rise slowly, fade slowly, leaving no urgency behind. This slowness is comforting. Your body recognizes it. Breathing remains slow and natural. Muscles soften further. Awareness loosens its grip. From above, the planet feels quiet and complete. Craters rest gently in the surface, their edges softened by age. Long valleys stretch across the land, silent records of ancient movement. Nothing here is new. Nothing here is unfinished. Mars does not try to be alive in the way Earth is. It does not bloom or pulse or rush. It exists in a calmer state, one shaped by endurance rather than activity. This endurance feels reassuring. As awareness drifts inward, allow the color of Mars to soften in your mind. The red is not bright. It is muted, warm, dusty, like embers that have long since cooled. The surface absorbs light rather than reflecting it. Shadows feel gentle here. Contrast fades. There is no glare, no sharpness. The planet seems to invite rest simply by existing. As you drift lower, closer to the surface, the scale of Mars becomes more apparent. Mountains rise slowly from the plains, not jagged or dramatic, but wide and steady. Olympus Mons rest quietly, vast beyond imagination, yet calm. It does not tower aggressively. It simply remains unchanged for ages. Nothing here tries to impress. The land spreads outward without urgency. without intention. Dust settles slowly. Rocks remain exactly where they have been for millions of years. This stillness is deep. Your body mirrors it. The surface beneath you, wherever you are resting now, feels more supportive. Gravity feels gentle. The weight of the body is present but unchallenging. On Mars, gravity is softer. Things feel lighter, slower, less demanding. Even movement would require less effort here. Rest would come easily. As awareness continues to soften, imagine resting above the Martian surface, not touching, not moving, just hovering gently in place. There is no sound, no insects, no water flowing, no voices, only a vast, breathable silence. This silence does not feel empty. It feels complete. The sky above Mars is not blue. It carries a soft, dusty tone, muted pinks and browns blending gently with the dark. Light filters through thin atmosphere, never harsh, never bright. Even daylight feels calm here. As the sun lowers, shadows stretch slowly across the land. There is no sudden shift. Evening arrives gradually, almost unnoticed. Mars does not rush into night. It eases. As awareness drifts deeper, allow this easing to happen within you. There is no need to stay alert. Nothing requires attention. Nothing will change suddenly. The planet holds its state gently. Night on Mars feels especially quiet. The temperature drops slowly. The sky deepens. Stars appear one by one, distant and steady. Phobos and Deimos drift silently overhead, small and irregular, never demanding attention. They pass without ceremony, without brightness. Everything here moves quietly. Your breathing remains slow and steady. The body feels heavy and light at the same time. Awareness floats without direction. Mars has no oceans now, no flowing rivers, no rainfall, but the land remembers. Dry channels trace ancient paths where water once moved slowly across the surface. These paths do not mourn what has passed. They simply remain. Memory exists here without emotion. This neutrality is soothing. The planet does not compare what it is to what it was. It does not long for change. It rests fully in its current state. Your mind is allowed to do the same. There is no need to review the day. No need to plan tomorrow. No need to remember anything at all. As awareness softens further, the idea of Mars becomes less visual and more atmospheric. A sense of space, of calm distance, of time stretching quietly in all directions. Mars exists beyond urgency. It does not count seconds. It does not measure progress. It simply continues. The universe holds it gently in its orbit, allowing it to circle the sun without hurry, without interruption. And you are allowed to rest within this same gentle rhythm. The words soften now, becoming less important. Meaning fades into tone. Tone dissolves into quiet sound. Awareness drifts naturally, without effort. Mars remains below, silent, ancient, calm, and you rest. Mars has a surface shaped by time, not by urgency, not by sudden change. Its land has been touched slowly, patiently, over billions of years. Every plain, every ridge, every crater tells a story that unfolded without haste. As you rest, imagine drifting gently above this ancient surface. There is no sense of height or depth to track. You are simply present, suspended over a world that has learned how to be still. The ground below is layered with memory. Dust rests upon dust, settled over ages. Fine grains move only when the light Martian winds invite them, lifting them gently, then placing them back down again. Nothing is disturbed for long. This calm repetition feels soothing. Your breathing follows a similar rhythm, in and out. Each breath arriving without effort, leaving without urgency. The plains of Mars stretch outward endlessly. They are wide, open, unbroken. No forests interrupt the view. No oceans reflect light. The land is honest in its simplicity. There is nothing hidden here. Rocks sit exactly where they have rested for countless years. Some are smooth, worn down slowly by wind and dust. Others remain sharp, unchanged, untouched by time's gentle hand. Mars allows both. As awareness softens, notice how the mind begins to release its need for variation. The sameness of the landscape does not bore the senses. It calms them. Uniformity becomes comfort. Craters appear across the surface like quiet impressions left long ago. They are not violent reminders. Their edges have softened, their shapes relaxed. Even impact has learned to rest. Nothing here feels sudden. Nothing feels unfinished. The land has accepted everything that has happened to it without resistance. This acceptance feels deeply peaceful. As your body continues to relax, imagine the surface temperature cooling gently as night deepens. Heat leaves the ground slowly, evenly, without sharp contrast. The planet exhales. Mars nights are long and calm. The thin atmosphere holds only a whisper of warmth, allowing the surface to rest fully. Rest feels natural here. There are no tides, no rushing currents, no pulsing life cycles. Just long, quiet nights under a wide sky. As awareness drifts deeper, the sky above Mars begins to matter less. The surface itself becomes the focus, not visually, but emotionally. It feels grounded, stable, unchanging. The planet does not shift beneath you. It does not respond to presence. It simply remains. This stability invites deeper rest. Your body mirrors this stillness instinctively. Muscles loosen further. The sense of needing to adjust position fades. There is nowhere else you need to be. Mars does not move quickly through time. Days pass slowly here. Seasons change gently. Even years feel stretched, unhurried. Time feels wide. As your mind releases its attachment to schedules and markers, rest deepens naturally. There is no need to know how long you have been here or how long you will remain. Duration dissolves. The surface of Mars holds traces of ancient rivers, dry channels carved long ago, now silent. They do not echo with loss. They do not suggest longing. They simply exist as quiet records. Mars does not mourn its past. It does not anticipate a future. It remains fully present. This presence is calming. As awareness softens further, imagine resting closer to the ground now, not touching, not landing, just hovering gently above the dust. There is no sound. The silence here is complete, yet soft. It does not press against the ears. It feels expansive, breathable. Silence becomes space. Your breathing slows even more now, sometimes barely noticeable. Each breath completes itself without instruction. The body knows exactly how much rest it needs. The Martian ground continues to hold its shape effortlessly. It does not shift under weight. It does not react to observation. It has no awareness of being seen. And yet, it supports rest simply by existing. As the words continue, they begin to soften into the background. Meaning becomes less important. The tone carries you gently forward. Awareness drifts. The surface of Mars fades into a feeling rather than an image, a sense of calm solidity, of being held by something ancient and unchanging. Nothing asks for attention, nothing interrupts. The planet remains below, quiet and still, while you rest more deeply with every breath, and rest continues. Above the surface of Mars, the sky feels different. It is not bright, it is not clear. The Martian sky carries a fine veil of dust, suspended gently in a thin atmosphere. Light passes through it slowly, softened and scattered, losing its sharpness before it ever reaches the ground. This softness is comforting. As awareness drifts inward, imagine looking up into this quiet sky without effort, without focus. The colors are muted, pale reds, gentle pinks, faint golds blending seamlessly into one another. There is no glare here, no harsh contrast. Even daylight feels calm. On Mars, the sun appears smaller, more distant, less demanding. It warms gently rather than brightly, casting long, soft shadows across the land. Time stretches. Shadows move slowly, almost imperceptibly, sliding across plains and craters without announcing their passage. There is no urgency in the changing light. The planet allows the day to unfold at its own pace. Your breathing mirrors this slowness now. In and out. Each breath quiet and complete. As the sun lowers toward the horizon, the sky deepens rather than darkens. Colors soften further, drifting toward dusky tones that feel warm and familiar. Mars does not rush into night. It eases into it. Dust remains suspended in the air, holding on to the last traces of light. Twilight lingers longer here, stretching the moment between day and night into something unhurried and gentle. This lingering feels soothing. Your body recognizes it as a signal to rest more deeply. Muscles loosen. The sense of needing to stay aware fades further. Above you, stars begin to appear, not all at once, but one by one. Each star arrives quietly, without brightness that demands attention. They feel distant, steady, unconcerned. The thin atmosphere allows starlight to reach the surface with clarity, yet the dust softens even this light, giving the night sky a gentle glow rather than sharp points. Nothing here sparkles aggressively. Nothing flashes. The moons of Mars, Phobos, and Deimos drift across the sky silently. They are small, irregular, and unremarkable, passing overhead without ceremony. They do not light the night. They do not command the sky. They simply move. This modest motion feels calming. As awareness drifts deeper, the sky becomes less something to look at and more something to rest within. A wide, quiet canopy that does not press downward. There is no feeling of enclosure, only openness. The Martian atmosphere is thin, barely present, allowing space to feel close. The boundary between planet and cosmos feels soft, almost invisible. Mars does not separate itself from space. It blends into it. Your mind is allowed to do the same. The idea of being in one place begins to soften. Location becomes less important. Awareness spreads gently, no longer anchored to the body alone. Breathing remains slow and steady. The body feels settled. The mind grows quiet. Occasionally, faint winds move across the surface, lifting dust gently into the air. These winds do not howl or roar. They whisper, barely stirring the silence. Even motion here is quiet. Dust settles again quickly, leaving the landscape unchanged. Nothing is reshaped suddenly. Nothing is disturbed for long. Mars prefers stability. As awareness softens further, imagine resting beneath this dusty sky, not looking up, not looking down, just existing within the space between. There is no sound to follow, no movement to track. The sky holds everything gently. Night deepens slowly. The temperature drops evenly without sharp change. The surface cools, releasing warmth gradually into the thin air. The planet rests. Your body rests with it. The stars above remain steady, unchanged by your presence, unaffected by attention. They shine because they exist, not because they are observed. This indifference is peaceful. There is nothing here that needs response. Nothing expects awareness. Nothing requires thought. As the words continue, they soften into the background. Meaning becomes less important than rhythm. Rhythm fades into quiet sound. Awareness drifts naturally, without direction. The Martian sky remains soft, dusty, distant, holding the planet in gentle stillness. And you rest beneath it, drifting deeper with every breath. Across the surface of Mars, long valleys stretch silently. They are wide and gentle, carved not by force, but by patience. These paths were shaped over immense spans of time when water once moved slowly across the land, guided by gravity and terrain, never rushing. The valleys remember movement, but they do not repeat it. They rest. As awareness drifts inward, imagine gliding above these ancient paths, following their curves without effort. There is no destination to reach. The valleys lead nowhere in particular, and that feels comforting. Nothing here asks to be completed. The channels wind softly through the land, their edges smoothed by age. They do not cut sharply. They blend into the surrounding plains, becoming part of the surface, rather than interrupting it. Mars does not preserve sharp memories. It allows them to soften. This softening feels reassuring. Your mind is allowed to do the same. Thoughts that once felt urgent can ease their edges. Memories do not need to be sharp to exist. They can rest gently, like these valleys, present without demanding attention. The valleys stretch for hundreds of kilometers, yet they feel intimate rather than vast. Their scale does not overwhelm. It invites quiet observation without focus. As breathing remains slow and steady, your body mirrors this gentle continuity. Each breath flows into the next without pause, without effort. The land beneath you feels stable. It does not shift. It does not respond. It simply supports the passage of time. Mars holds its history without attachment. These ancient paths were not erased when water vanished. They were not corrected or reshaped. They remained exactly as they were left, accepting stillness without resistance. There is peace in this acceptance. As awareness softens further, imagine resting near the edge of one of these valleys, not standing, not sitting, just present. The ground feels calm and firm, untouched by recent change. There is no sound. No echo returns from the valley walls. The silence absorbs everything, leaving no trace. This silence is not empty. It feels full of rest. Your breathing becomes quieter now, sometimes barely noticeable. The body settles deeper into the surface beneath it, wherever you are. The valleys do not judge what has passed through them. They do not hold on to motion or regret its absence. They exist comfortably as they are. Mars does not cling to what it once had. It does not long for rivers or rain. It does not replay its past. It simply remains. This neutrality is deeply calming. Your mind is allowed to release its tendency to revisit. The past does not need review. The future does not need preparation. There is only this gentle moment of rest. The valleys curve gradually, following the shape of the land. They do not force direction. They adapt naturally to the terrain, choosing the easiest path. This ease feels soothing. Nothing here resists gravity. Nothing struggles against form. Everything follows the simplest way. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine tracing these paths slowly, without moving, simply sensing their presence. There is no need to see them clearly. It is enough to feel their calm persistence. They have existed for billions of years, unchanged, untouched by urgency. Time passes gently here. Seasons come and go without disturbance. Dust settles and lifts again. Light shifts across the surface. The valleys remain. Your body recognizes this stability. Muscles loosen further. The sense of holding dissolves. There is nothing you need to support. The land does not require attention to exist. Neither do you. As the words continue, they soften into rhythm. Meaning becomes less important. Tone carries you gently forward. Awareness drifts. The valleys become less visual and more atmospheric. A sense of quiet depth, of long, patient presence. This presence feels grounding. Even in sleep, the body seeks grounding. A feeling of being held by something steady and unchanging. Mars provides this effortlessly. The ancient paths do not lead away from rest. They lead into it. They guide awareness inward, not outward. Breathing remains slow. The body feels heavy and settled. The mind grows quieter with each passing moment. Nothing interrupts. The valleys rest, the planet rests, and you rest with them. Remain exactly as you are. Your body is resting deeply now, breathing slow and gentle, supported without effort. There is no need to listen closely. The words can drift through awareness like thin air passing over still stone. On Mars, mountains rise without urgency. They do not push upward. They do not strain against the sky. They simply remain. From a distance, these mountains appear vast and calm, their slopes wide and gradual, shaped by time rather than force. They do not feel dramatic. They feel settled. As awareness drifts inward, imagine approaching one of these ancient elevations slowly, without movement, without effort. There is no sense of climbing, no change in breath, no awareness of height. The mountain does not challenge you. It does not ask anything of you. It has been here longer than memory, longer than motion, longer than urgency. Olympus Mons rises gently from the plains, broader than any mountain on earth, yet calm in its presence. Its size does not overwhelm. Its height does not impress. It rests. The slopes stretch outward for hundreds of kilometers, so gradual that they feel like land rather than ascent. There is no sharp edge, no sudden incline. Everything is softened by time. This softness feels comforting. Your body mirrors this gentle stability. Muscles loosen further. There is no need to hold posture or support yourself. You are already supported. The mountain does not feel heavy. It feels balanced. Its weight is distributed evenly, resting comfortably on the surface of the planet. Nothing presses downward aggressively. Nothing pulls upward. Gravity here is gentle. As breathing remains slow and natural, the body sinks deeper into stillness. Awareness becomes less centered, more spread, as if resting across a wide surface rather than a single point. The mountain does not move with the passing of time. Dust settles on its slopes. Light shifts across its surface. Seasons come and go. The mountain remains. This permanence is deeply calming. Nothing here reacts. Nothing adjusts. Mars does not erode its mountains quickly. Wind moves slowly. Weather is rare. Change arrives softly, almost imperceptibly. The mountain exists outside of urgency. Your mind is allowed to exist there too. There is no need to respond to thoughts. No need to follow sensations. No need to stay alert. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine resting somewhere along the mountain slope, not sitting, not standing, just present. The surface feels cool and firm, not cold, not hard, simply steady. The ground does not shift beneath you. It does not vibrate. It does not speak. Silence surrounds everything evenly. The mountain does not remember forming. It does not recall eruptions or flows. It does not identify with its past. It exists only as it is now. This absence of memory feels peaceful. You do not need to remember today. You do not need to prepare for tomorrow. Rest does not require context. As the words continue, they soften into the background. Meaning becomes less important. Tone carries the rhythm gently forward. Awareness drifts. The mountain's presence becomes less visual and more felt. A sense of calm mass, of grounded stillness, of something that does not move and does not need to. This feeling invites deep rest. Your breathing slows further, sometimes barely noticeable. Each breath completes itself without guidance. The body feels heavy in a comforting way, supported, settled. The mountain does not support you actively. It simply exists beneath you, offering stability without effort. This effortless support is reassuring. Mars holds its mountains gently, allowing them to remain exactly as they are for millions of years. Nothing pressures them to change. Time passes quietly. As awareness softens further, even the idea of the mountain begins to fade. What remains is the feeling it offered, a deep, steady calm. This calm does not require an image. It exists on its own. Thoughts appear rarely now. When they do, they feel distant, incomplete, easy to release. Nothing here demands attention. The mountain remains, the planet remains, and you rest with them. Mars holds its atmosphere lightly. The air here is thin, barely present, a soft veil rather than a weight. It does not press against the body. It does not carry sound far. It does not demand attention. Breathing feels imagined rather than required. This lightness is calming. As awareness drifts inward, imagine existing within this thin air without needing to draw breath. There is no effort involved, no rhythm to maintain, just quiet presence suspended gently above the surface. The planet does not cling to its atmosphere, it allows it. Particles drift slowly, spreading out, touching little, interacting rarely. Motion happens without disturbance. Silence remains intact. Your mind mirrors this state. Thoughts drift farther apart now. They no longer collide or gather into patterns. They pass through awareness gently, leaving no trace. Gentle gravity holds everything on Mars. It is softer than Earth's pull, less demanding. Objects feel lighter, slower, less anchored. Movement would require less effort here, but even that effort is optional. Nothing is pulled sharply downward. As breathing continues slowly and naturally, the body feels lighter within itself. The sensation of weight remains, but it is diffused, spread evenly, unchallenging. There is no pressure to move. On Mars, gravity does not hurry things along. Dust settles slowly. Rocks remain where they are placed. Even collapse happens gently, without urgency. This gentleness feels safe. The planet does not rush matter toward its center. It holds without gripping. Your body responds instinctively to this softness. Muscles loosen further. The sense of needing to support yourself dissolves. You are already supported. The thin atmosphere allows temperature to change gradually. Heat leaves the surface slowly. Cold arrives quietly. There are no sudden shifts. Mars does not shock the senses. It eases them. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine resting within this gentle balance. Light gravity below, thin air above. Nothing presses from either side. The body floats within itself. Sound does not travel far here. Vibrations fade quickly. Any noise that might exist dissolves almost immediately, leaving silence untouched. Silence feels wide. Your mind rests easily within it. There is no echo, no repetition, no lingering sound. The planet absorbs everything gently. The thin air allows light to scatter softly. Shadows are gentle, edges blur, contrast fades. Nothing here feels sharp. As awareness softens further, even the sense of air becomes abstract. There is no clear medium surrounding you. Only space, open, calm, unfilled. This openness is not emptiness, it is ease. Your breathing slows further now, sometimes barely noticeable. Each breath completes itself without instruction. The body knows exactly how little effort it needs to rest. Mars exists comfortably with very little. Very little air, very little moisture, very little motion. And yet, it is complete. This completeness without excess is deeply calming. You do not need more stimulation. You do not need more thought. You do not need more awareness. As the words continue, they soften into the background. Meaning becomes less important than rhythm. Rhythm fades into quiet sound. Awareness drifts. The gentle gravity continues to hold the planet and everything upon it without effort. Nothing is pinned down. Nothing is forced upward. Everything exists in balance. This balance invites deep rest. The sensation of the body becomes less distinct now. arms and legs feel diffuse. The boundary between body and space softens. You are not disappearing, you are relaxing your edges. Mars holds its edges lightly too. Its atmosphere fades gradually into space without a sharp boundary. There is no clear line where planet ends and cosmos begins. Everything blends. As awareness drifts deeper, the idea of location loses importance. You are not here or there, you simply are. The planet continues its slow orbit quietly, unobserved, unaffected by attention. Time passes gently, breathing continues, gravity holds, silence remains, and you rest, lighter with every moment. Nights on Mars are long. They do not fall suddenly. They do not arrive with urgency. Darkness spreads slowly across the land, easing into place as light withdraws without resistance. The planet does not switch from day to night. It transitions gently, allowing the surface to cool and settle. This gradual change feels calming. As awareness drifts inward, imagine the long Martian night unfolding around you. There is no rush to sleep, no moment to catch. Night simply becomes the natural state. The sky deepens into darker tones, but it never feels heavy. Stars emerge softly, their light distant and steady, untroubled by atmosphere or motion. They do not flicker, they do not compete, they simply remain. The cold of night arrives slowly, evenly. Heat leaves the surface in a gentle exchange with the thin air, never abruptly, never sharply. Mars cools the way rest cools the body, gradually, patiently, without shock. Your body mirrors this cooling. Breathing slows further, muscles soften, awareness settles. There is no need to adjust to the night. The night does not demand adaptation. It receives you quietly. Long hours pass without markers. There are no city lights, no clocks, no sounds to indicate time's movement. Time stretches wide. On Mars, darkness does not hide danger. It does not conceal motion. It simply reduces stimulation, allowing everything to rest. This absence of stimulation feels safe. Your mind no longer searches for cues. It does not scan the environment. It does not anticipate change. Vigilance fades naturally. As awareness softens further, the idea of counting hours dissolves. Night is not something to move through. It is something to rest within. Mars understands this. The planet does not resist darkness. It does not illuminate itself. It allows the night to exist fully. Phobos and Deimos pass silently overhead, barely altering the darkness. Their movement is subtle, almost unnoticeable, a reminder that motion can occur without disturbance. Even motion here is quiet. The ground beneath you cools gently, releasing warmth into the air until temperature becomes uniform, stable, calm. Stability deepens rest. Your body reaches a similar equilibrium now. Temperature regulation settles, sensation softens. The sense of comfort becomes irrelevant. There's nothing left to optimize. The Martian night sky feels vast and open. Without a thick atmosphere, space feels close, almost touching the surface. The boundary between planet and cosmos thins. As awareness drifts deeper, this closeness feels comforting rather than overwhelming. There is no sense of exposure, only openness. Openness without demand. The darkness does not ask you to sleep. It simply allows sleep. Your breathing remains slow and natural. Sometimes you notice it. Sometimes you do not. Both are fine. The body knows what to do. As the night continues, nothing interrupts it. No sudden weather, no abrupt sound, no unexpected movement. Consistency settles in. Consistency allows rest to deepen. Mars holds its nights quietly, letting hours pass without comment. The planet does not track time. It does not mark progress. It exists comfortably within duration. Your mind releases its need to measure. There is no need to know how long you have been resting. There is no need to know what time it is. Time no longer matters. As awareness softens further, imagine the faint suggestion of dawn far away, not approaching, not arriving, simply existing as a distant possibility. But there is no pull toward it. Night remains the natural state. The long Martian night does not end abruptly. It does not break. It will ease back into light when the time comes, just as gently as it arrived. There is no need to anticipate that moment. Rest does not need an endpoint. Your body sinks deeper now, heavier and lighter at the same time. The sense of being held becomes more diffuse, less defined. Thoughts appear rarely. When they do, they feel faint, unfinished, easy to release. Nothing here demands clarity. The night continues without interruption. The planet remains still. The sky remains open. And you remain at rest, drifting comfortably within the long, quiet hours. Mars is covered in dust. Not thick layers piled quickly, but fine grains that have taken their time to arrive. Each particle has traveled slowly, lifted gently by wind, carried briefly, then placed down again. Nothing rushes here. The dust does not cling. It does not resist. It rests exactly where it lands. As awareness drifts inward, imagine this dust surrounding you, not touching, not covering, just present everywhere, softening edges, quieting contrast. Dust on Mars is memory without emotion. It holds the history of movement, of erosion, of time passing quietly. And yet, it does not recall. It does not replay. It simply remains. This neutrality is soothing. Your mind is allowed to release memory the same way. Experiences do not need to be reviewed. Thoughts do not need to be replayed. They can settle gently, like dust returning to the ground. The Martian dust moves rarely. When it does, it rises slowly, suspended in the thin air, drifting without direction or urgency. Even storms here take their time. They form gradually, spread softly, and fade without drama. Dust storms do not rage. They envelop, then release. Nothing collides. Nothing breaks. The dust absorbs sound, absorbs light, absorbs sharpness. Colors soften beneath it. Shadows blur. Everything feels quieter because of it. As breathing remains slow and natural, your body mirrors this softening. Muscles relax further. The sense of alertness fades. Awareness spreads, less focused, more diffuse. Dust settles into every small depression, every gentle slope, smoothing the surface until nothing feels abrupt. Mars allows itself to be softened. There is no effort involved. The planet does not resist being covered. It accepts. Your body accepts rest in the same way. There is no need to let go actively. Letting go happens when nothing resists it. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine the dust settling not only on the landscape, but within awareness itself. Sharp thoughts lose definition. Clear ideas blur at the edges. Nothing disappears. Everything softens. The dust carries no urgency. It has waited for millions of years to move a few meters. It is patient beyond measurement. This patience feels deeply calming. Time stretches comfortably here. There is no sense of delay, no sense of waiting. Dust does not wait for something else to happen. It simply exists where it is. The mind releases its habit of anticipation. Nothing is coming, nothing is expected. Mars holds its dust gently, allowing it to settle and resettle endlessly. The surface changes slowly, almost imperceptibly. Change does not interrupt rest. As awareness softens further, the distinction between surface and air becomes less important. Dust flows briefly, then rests again. There is no clear boundary. Everything blends. Your body feels similar now. Sensation is present, but not sharply defined. Weight exists, but without pressure. You are supported without being held tightly. The dust does not form patterns intentionally. Any shape it creates is temporary, soon softened again by the next quiet movement. Nothing here needs to last. This impermanence is gentle. Your thoughts do not need to last either. They can rise faintly, then settle back into quiet, leaving no trace. As the words continue, they soften into the background. Meaning becomes less important than tone. Tone fades into quiet sound. Awareness drifts. The Martian dust continues its slow, endless settling, smoothing the world one grain at a time. It does not hurry. It does not finish. And that is enough. The planet rests beneath its own patience. You rest within it. Mars is a world that waits. It does not wait for something specific. It does not anticipate change. It waits because nothing presses it forward. Across its surface, time stretches quietly. Days pass, nights return. Seasons shift almost imperceptibly. The planet does not react to these changes. It absorbs them. Waiting here does not feel empty. It feels complete. As awareness drifts inward, imagine this quality of waiting, not as pause, not as delay, but as a state of ease. Nothing is held back. Nothing is missing. Mars exists comfortably within its own stillness. Your body recognizes this instinctively. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sense of needing to arrive somewhere fades. There's no moment you are waiting for, no state you must reach. Rest is already present. On Mars, even movement feels patient. Winds rise slowly, travel briefly, then settle again. Dust lifts, drifts, and returns to rest. Nothing insists on continuation. This gentleness invites deeper calm. Your mind begins to release its habit of expecting. Thoughts no longer look ahead. They no longer scan for what comes next. Awareness settles into now. The planet does not prepare for the future. It does not preserve the past. It simply exists. This simplicity is soothing. As awareness softens further, the idea of progress dissolves. There is no sense of moving forward or backward. Everything feels suspended in a quiet balance. This balance does not require effort. Mars does not need to maintain itself actively. Gravity holds it. Orbit carries it. Time passes through it without disturbance. Your body rests in the same way. Muscles no longer adjust. Posture no longer matters. Comfort becomes irrelevant. There is only being. The surface of Mars shows no signs of impatience. Craters remain where they formed. Valleys remain where water once flowed. Mountains remain exactly as they are. Nothing tries to become something else. As awareness drifts deeper, this acceptance spreads through the body. You do not need to change your position. You do not need to deepen your breath. Nothing needs improvement. The planet waits without boredom. It waits without hope. It waits without intention. This waiting is not passive. It is stable. As the words soften, they become less distinct. Meaning fades into tone. Tone becomes rhythm. Rhythm dissolves into silence. Awareness drifts. The sense of time loosens further. Minutes lose their shape. The idea of duration fades. Waiting without time feels like rest. Mars remains unchanged beneath the quiet sky. It does not track the passing hours. It does not count the nights. It allows them to pass. Your mind allows the same now. Thoughts appear rarely. When they do, they feel faint and unfinished, easy to release before becoming clear. Nothing here demands clarity. The planet continues to wait, not for an event, not for a visitor, not for transformation. It waits because it is complete. As awareness softens further, the difference between waiting and resting disappears. They become the same thing. Rest is waiting without expectation. Your body settles into this state fully. Breathing is slow. Sensation is minimal. Awareness is wide and quiet. There is nothing to respond to. The Martian surface holds its silence gently, allowing time to move across it without friction. You are held the same way. No effort, no intention, no urgency, just rest. Mars moves quietly. It circles the sun without sound, without effort, without awareness of its own motion. There is no sensation of speed, no feeling of travel. The planet simply continues along its path, guided gently by gravity. This motion feels calm. As awareness drifts inward, imagine this orbit not as movement, but as consistency, a steady return, a rhythm that does not change from one moment to the next. Mars does not rush around the sun. It does not linger. It follows a path that has existed for billions of years, unchanged, uninterrupted. This reliability is soothing. Your body understands this kind of motion instinctively. The heart beats steadily. Breath follows breath. Nothing accelerates. Nothing slows intentionally. Everything finds its own pace. The sun appears distant from Mars, smaller and less demanding. Its warmth arrives gently, never overwhelming. Light reaches the planet slowly, crossing vast space without urgency. Even light is patient here. As awareness softens further, the idea of distance begins to lose meaning. Near and far dissolve into a single sense of presence. The sun is simply there, existing without interaction. Mars does not respond emotionally to the sun. It does not brighten with excitement. It does not dim with absence. It remains. This neutrality feels peaceful. The planet's orbit does not require correction. There are no adjustments to make. Gravity holds everything in balance naturally. Balance without effort. Your body rests in the same state now. There is no need to adjust position. No need to refine comfort. Everything is already balanced enough. Orbiting creates seasons on Mars, but they arrive gently. Temperature shifts are gradual. Light angles change slowly. There is no abrupt transition. Change happens without disruption. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine floating with the planet as it moves. No sensation of motion, no awareness of direction. There is no up or down, no forward or backward, only continuation. This continuation does not feel endless, it feels complete. Mars does not know where it has been. It does not anticipate where it is going. It exists entirely within the present moment of its path. Your mind releases its need to track progress. There is no need to remember earlier parts of the journey. There is no need to anticipate what comes next. The orbit continues whether it is observed or not. It does not depend on attention. This independence is calming. As breathing remains slow and quiet, the sense of the body becomes more diffuse. Awareness spreads gently, no longer centered in any one place. You are not moving, you are being carried. The vastness of space surrounding Mars is silent and open. Nothing interrupts the planet's path. Nothing presses against it. Space offers no resistance. This lack of resistance invites deeper rest. Your mind no longer resists drifting. It no longer tries to stay awake or fall asleep. Both ideas dissolve. Only rest remains. The orbit repeats endlessly, not as a loop, but as a smooth curve through time. There is no beginning to this motion, no end, just presence. As the words soften further, they become less important. Meaning fades into tone. Tone dissolves into quiet sound. Awareness drifts. Mars continues its silent journey around the sun, unchanged by observation, unaffected by thought. And you rest within that same gentle continuity, carried without effort, held without pressure. On Mars, time leaves no footprints. There are no crowds to shape the ground, no cities to rearrange the land, no constant motion to wear pathways into existence. Time passes quietly here, touching the surface without pressing into it. This light touch feels calming. As awareness drifts inward, imagine time moving across Mars like a soft shadow, present but without weight. Nothing is pushed forward. Nothing is left behind. The planet does not keep track of its days. It does not count its years. It exists within time, not beneath it. This relationship feels gentle. Your body enters the same relationship now. There is no need to notice the passing of minutes, no awareness of how long you have been resting. Duration dissolves. On Mars, ancient features remain because nothing rushes to replace them. Craters soften slowly. Valleys remain unchanged. Mountains do not crumble quickly. Time here is patient. Patience allows rest. As breathing remains slow and natural, the body mirrors this patience. There is no urgency to shift position, no need to deepen breath. Everything unfolds quietly. Time does not hurry Mars toward change. It allows the planet to remain exactly as it is for long stretches, interrupted only by subtle, gradual shifts. Change does not interrupt stillness. Your mind recognizes this and releases its habit of monitoring progress. There is no need to check whether rest is happening. Rest is happening on its own. As awareness softens further, The idea of a timeline fades. There is no sequence to follow, no steps to complete. Moments blend together seamlessly. On Mars, dawn and dusk arrive slowly, without drama. Night fades into day the same way rest fades into sleep, without announcement. There is no moment to catch. The planet does not mark transitions, it allows them. Your mind does the same now. Thoughts no longer arrive in order. They appear softly, then dissolve before becoming clear. There is no need to make sense of them. Sense-making belongs to wakefulness. As awareness drifts deeper, the sense of being in a body loosens further. Sensations soften. The outline of the body becomes less distinct. Time passes, but it is no longer noticed. Mars exists comfortably like this, held within long durations that do not feel long. Years pass without sensation. Centuries drift by without impact. The scale is soothing. Nothing demands attention over this length of time. Nothing needs to be maintained actively. Your body rests within the same principle. Heartbeats continue without counting. Breaths follow breaths without awareness. Balance restores quietly. You do not need to witness it. As the words soften further, they become less important. Meaning fades into tone. Tone becomes rhythm. Rhythm dissolves into silence. Awareness drifts. Time continues, but it no longer feels like time. It feels like space, wide, open, undemanding. Mars rests within it, and you rest with Mars, untouched by urgency, untouched by expectation. On Mars, sound barely exists. The thin air does not carry it far. Vibrations lose their strength almost immediately, dissolving into silence before they can travel any distance at all. This absence is calming. As awareness drifts inward, imagine a world where nothing echoes, where no sound returns to you, where every movement, if it existed at all, would fade instantly. Silence remains untouched. Mars does not amplify noise. It absorbs it. Even the wind, when it moves, does so quietly. It whispers across the surface, lifting dust gently, then letting it fall again without disturbance. There is no roar here, no sudden interruption. Silence stretches wide. Your body recognizes this environment instinctively. The nervous system relaxes when sound fades. Vigilance releases when there is nothing to hear. Listening becomes unnecessary. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sense of alertness dissolves further. The ears no longer scan. The mind no longer expects information. Nothing arrives. On Mars, the quiet is not empty. It is full of space, full of distance, full of time passing without announcement. This fullness feels safe. The planet does not react to sound because sound does not linger. There is nothing to respond to, nothing to interpret. Your mind mirrors this state. Thoughts arise less often now. When they do not echo. They appear briefly, then dissolve without repetition. Nothing repeats itself. As awareness softens further, the idea of silence becomes less noticeable. Silence is no longer something to hear. It is simply the condition of everything. This condition does not demand attention. In deep space above Mars, sound does not exist at all. There is no medium to carry it. Motion happens without noise. Events unfold without announcement. This noiselessness is deeply restful. Your body rests the same way now. Processes continue quietly beneath awareness, without sensation, without feedback. You do not need to notice them. The Martian surface absorbs vibration gently. Even impacts leave no ringing echo. Dust settles. Stillness returns. Everything resolves quickly into quiet. This quick resolution feels comforting. As awareness drifts deeper, the distinction between sound and silence dissolves. There is nothing to compare one against the other. There is only stillness. Your breathing may be barely audible now, or not noticeable at all. Both are fine. There is no correct level of sound. The body does not need feedback to function. Mars exists comfortably without sound. It does not feel deprived. It does not need noise to confirm its existence. Your mind is allowed to exist the same way. No commentary, no narration, no inner noise required. As the words soften further, they begin to blend into the silence they describe. Language loses its edge, meaning loosens, awareness drifts. Even the idea of listening fades. There is nothing to listen for. The planet remains quiet. The space above it remains quiet. And you rest within that quiet, undisturbed, unchanged. Silence holds everything gently, and rest deepens naturally. Mars is a place where stillness lasts, not for moments, not for hours, for ages. The planet does not shift often. It does not rearrange itself quickly. Most of what exists on its surface has existed the same way for longer than memory can hold. This endurance feels calming. As awareness drifts inward, imagine stillness not as absence, but as presence that does not move. A calm that does not require maintenance. Mars holds this kind of stillness naturally. The land does not fidget. The sky does not hurry. The surface does not adjust itself. Everything remains exactly where it is allowed to be. Your body recognizes this state instinctively. Muscles release further. The sense of needing to change position fades. There is no pressure to improve comfort. Comfort has already arrived. Stillness on Mars is not fragile. It does not break easily. Winds may pass, dust may lift, light may shift. The stillness remains beneath it all. This depth is reassuring. As breathing remains slow and even, the body sinks further into rest. Sensations become less defined. The edges of awareness soften. There is no need to remain alert. On Mars, events are rare. When something changes, it does so slowly, gently, without urgency. Stillness absorbs change rather than being disrupted by it. Change does not threaten rest. Your mind mirrors this pattern. Thoughts may arise, but they do not disturb the calm. They pass through like faint impressions, leaving no ripple behind. Nothing is interrupted. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine the surface of Mars beneath you. Vast, quiet, unchanging. It does not respond to presence. It does not react to attention. It simply remains. This lack of reaction feels safe. There is nothing here that needs to be managed. Nothing that needs to be watched. The planet does not expect anything. As the words continue, they soften further, becoming less distinct. Meaning loosens. Tone carries the rhythm gently forward. Awareness drifts. Stillness stretches comfortably. It does not feel long. It does not feel short. It feels complete. Mars exists within this completeness effortlessly. It does not question its own state. It does not seek movement or change. It is content to remain. Your body is content to remain too. Breathing continues quietly. The heart beats steadily. Balance restores silently beneath awareness. You do not need to know any of this. As awareness softens further, the idea of stillness dissolves into simple being. There is no concept to hold, no state to maintain, just rest. The planet holds its stillness without effort. The universe holds the planet the same way, and you are held within that same enduring calm. On Mars, edges soften with time. Nothing remains sharp for long. Nothing keeps its angles. Dust settles gently into every line, every crease, every quiet hollow. Wind passes slowly, smoothing what was once distinct, easing contrast into calm continuity. This softening is peaceful. As awareness drifts inward, imagine the world without sharp boundaries, no clear lines dividing one thing from another. Everything blending gently, without resistance. Mars allows this blending. Craters lose their definition. Rocks become rounded. Valleys ease into plains. The planet does not preserve hardness. It relaxes it. Your mind mirrors this now. Thoughts that once felt clear and structured begin to lose their edges. They no longer need to make sense. They no longer need to be held together. Clarity is no longer required. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sense of separation softens. Inside and outside begin to feel less distinct. Body and surface blur into a shared sense of presence. This is safe. The planet does not hold itself apart from space. Its atmosphere fades gradually, thinning into nothing without a clear border. Mars does not insist on definition. Your awareness does not need it either. As edges soften, effort dissolves. There is no need to focus, no need to stay aware. Nothing depends on precision anymore. Rest deepens naturally. On Mars, even the horizon feels gentle. There's no abrupt drop, no dramatic rise. The land stretches outward calmly, inviting the eyes to rest rather than search. Searching becomes unnecessary. Your body responds instinctively. Muscles loosen further. The jaw softens. The face rests without expression. Nothing needs to be communicated. As awareness drifts deeper, imagine the dust continuing its quiet work, softening everything it touches. Over time, it smooths the planet into a place where nothing feels urgent. Time itself softens here. Moments blend together without separation. There is no clear start or end to experience. Everything feels continuous. This continuity is calming. Your mind releases its habit of dividing experience into pieces. There is no longer a need to understand what comes before or after. There is only this gentle presence. As the words soften further, they begin to lose shape. Language becomes sound. Sound becomes rhythm. Rhythm fades into quiet. Awareness drifts. Edges dissolve completely now. There is no sharpness left. Only smooth, uninterrupted rest. The planet remains quiet beneath its softened surface, and you rest with it, undisturbed, unbroken, at ease. Remain exactly as you are. Your body is resting deeply now, breathing slow and gentle, supported without effort. There is no need to listen closely. The words can pass through awareness like distant light, present but ungraspable. On Mars, distance is gentle. Nothing crowds anything else. Nothing presses close. Space opens naturally between every feature, between rocks, between valleys, between moments. The land feels wide and unhurried, allowing everything to exist without touching. This spaciousness is calming. As awareness drifts inward, imagine being held not by contact, but by distance itself. Nothing leans against you. Nothing weighs on you. There's room to rest without being enclosed. Mars offers this kind of holding effortlessly. The surface stretches outward without interruption. There are no fences, no borders, no edges that demand attention. Everything has space. Your body recognizes this instinctively. When there is space, tension dissolves. Muscles do not need to brace. Awareness does not need to defend itself. Distance becomes support. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sense of being contained fades. There is no pressure around the body, no need to feel boundaries clearly. You are not floating away, you are being allowed. On Mars, even gravity feels spacious. It holds gently, without urgency. Objects rest easily where they are neither pulled sharply down nor held tightly in place. Balance happens quietly. Your body rests in the same balance now. The sensation of weight is present, but it does not press. It spreads evenly, diffused, comfortable. There is no effort required to remain still. The planet's distance from the sun creates long, gentle seasons. Light arrives softly. Warmth lingers briefly, then fades without resistance. Nothing is rushed. This unhurried rhythm invites deeper rest. As awareness softens further, the idea of closeness loses importance. You do not need to be near anything. You do not need to be held tightly. Distance itself is enough. The wide Martian plains hold this feeling perfectly. They do not crowd the senses. They do not overwhelm. They simply exist, open and quiet. Your mind opens the same way. Thoughts appear rarely now. When they do, they feel distant, like something seen far away without the need to approach. Nothing pulls you in. As the words continue, they soften further. Meaning loosens. The sound of the voice becomes part of the background, no longer something to follow. Awareness drifts. The sense of space around you expands gently, not outward, not inward, simply everywhere at once. There is no center to locate. This lack of center is peaceful. On Mars, there is no place that matters more than another. Every point on the surface exists equally within the vastness. Nothing competes. Your mind releases comparison. There is no better state to reach, no deeper rest to aim for. Rest is already complete. Breathing continues quietly. The body feels light and settled at the same time. Sensation fades into softness. Distance holds you gently now, without touch, without pressure. The planet remains wide and calm beneath its open sky, and you rest within that distance, supported by space itself. On Mars, movement rarely insists on being noticed. What little motion exists unfolds so slowly that it feels indistinguishable from stillness. Dust drifts, but over hours. Shadows move, but across entire evenings. The planet does not rush anything into change. Motion becomes rest. As awareness drifts inward, imagine motion not as something that happens, but as something that eases, a gentle release of activity into quiet presence. Mars understands this transition. Wind slows until it is no longer wind. Light fades until it is no longer light. Change continues until it no longer feels like change. This gradual softening is deeply calming. Your body mirrors this now. Small adjustments stop happening. Muscles no longer make tiny corrections. The nervous system releases its final alertness, allowing the body to settle completely. Nothing is being adjusted anymore. The planet exists comfortably in this state. There is no sudden stillness after motion. Only motion that becomes slower, then softer, then irrelevant. This is how rest arrives. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sensation of the body becomes less active. The feeling of movement within you, blood flow, breath, subtle shifts, continues, but without calling attention to itself. You do not need to notice it. On Mars, even gravity feels like motion that has slowed into stability. It holds everything gently, allowing rest without confinement. Nothing is suspended. Nothing is pulled. Everything simply remains. As awareness softens further, the idea of movement dissolves completely. There is no sense of drifting or stillness. Both feel the same. This sameness is peaceful. The planet's surface rests beneath its quiet sky. No tectonic shift disturbs it. No rushing water reshapes it. No sudden growth interrupts its calm. Mars has learned how to be still. Your body learns the same now. Breathing continues, but it no longer feels like an action. It feels like a condition, something that exists rather than something that happens. Awareness loosens further. Thoughts, if they appear, feel slow and distant, as if moving through a thick, quiet medium. They do not gather momentum. They fade before forming shape. Nothing accelerates. As the words continue, they soften into rhythm. Rhythm slows until it no longer feels like rhythm. Sound becomes presence. Presence becomes quiet. On Mars, nights and days blend gently at the edges. There is no sharp boundary. Light eases into dark the same way wakefulness eases into sleep. Without moment, without marker. This easing feels safe. Your mind releases the need to notice transitions. There is no point at which you must be aware. No stage you must pass through. Rest does not require awareness. As awareness softens further, even the sense of existing as a body loosens. Sensation fades. Location dissolves. There is no movement to follow. No stillness to maintain. Only rest. The planet remains unchanged beneath the quiet sky. Space holds it gently, allowing it to continue without interruption. And you are held the same way now, within a state where motion has softened completely into stillness, and stillness no longer needs to be noticed. Rest continues. On Mars, distance does not feel isolating. It feels like home. The wide spaces between things are not empty. They are gentle. They offer room to exist without pressure, without interruption, without the need to respond. Mars has learned how to live within distance. As awareness drifts inward, imagine distance not as separation, but as comfort. Space that allows rest to deepen simply by being there. Nothing crowds you here. Nothing approaches unexpectedly. Everything remains exactly where it is meant to be. The surface stretches calmly in every direction. No horizon rushes toward you. No boundary presses back. Distance remains consistent, reassuring, stable. This stability feels safe. Your body recognizes it instinctively. When nothing comes too close, the nervous system relaxes completely. Vigilance fades, attention loosens. There is no need to watch. On Mars, even light travels across distance gently. The sun's warmth arrives softened by space, never intense, never demanding. Light rests before it touches the ground. This gentleness is soothing. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sense of personal space expands. The body feels less defined, less contained. You are not shrinking. You are relaxing your edges. Distance allows this. The planet does not feel lonely within space. It does not seek closeness. It does not reach outward. It is complete where it is. Your mind is allowed to feel complete as well. There is no need to connect to anything. No need to think of anyone. No need to orient yourself toward the world beyond rest. Distance holds you quietly. As awareness softens further, the idea of being somewhere dissolves. Location loses importance. There is no place you need to return to. You are already where you need to be. Mars does not mark its position. It does not check its path. It exists comfortably within distance, supported by gravity and space, without awareness of either. This unconscious balance feels calming. Your body rests in the same way now, held by forces that do not require attention. Breathing continues. The heart moves steadily. You do not need to notice. As the words soften further, they become less distinct. Meaning loosens. Sound becomes presence rather than message. Awareness drifts. Distance begins to feel like belonging, not because something welcomes you, but because nothing excludes you. There are no gates here, no thresholds, no conditions, just space that allows rest. The Martian plains hold this feeling perfectly, wide, uninterrupted, open. They do not define themselves. They do not compare. They simply exist. Your mind releases comparison too. There is no better state to achieve, no deeper rest to reach. Rest is already complete. As awareness softens further, even the sense of drifting dissolves. There is no movement to notice, no stillness to maintain. Distance remains gentle and neutral. The planet continues its quiet presence within space, unchanged, undisturbed, and you rest within that same quiet distance, held not by closeness, but by the ease of being allowed. Rest deepens. On Mars, weight feels different, not absent, just lighter. Gravity holds gently here, without insistence, without pressure. Things remain where they are, yet nothing feels pinned down. Movement would be easy, but movement is unnecessary. This softness invites rest. As awareness drifts inward, imagine the feeling of weight becoming diffuse, spread evenly, no longer concentrated anywhere in particular. The body feels present, but not heavy. Support exists without compression. The surface does not push upward. Gravity does not pull sharply downward. Everything rests in balance. Mars exists comfortably within this gentle holding. Rocks sit quietly. Dust settles softly. The planet carries its mass without strain. Your body mirrors this now, Muscles release further. The sense of bearing weight dissolves. There is no effort required to remain still. Stillness happens naturally. As breathing remains slow and natural, the sensation of the body becomes more abstract. Arms and legs feel less distinct. The outline of the body softens into a general sense of presence. This is safe. In lighter gravity, even time feels less dense. Moments do not stack tightly. They spread out, leaving space between them. Awareness rests in that space. Mars does not feel burdened by itself. It does not struggle under its own mass. It moves through space quietly, carried by forces that do not announce themselves. This quiet carrying feels calming. Your mind releases the idea of effort completely. There is no need to stay awake, no need to fall asleep. Both ideas dissolve. As awareness softens further, imagine floating just above the surface, not rising, not falling, simply existing within balance. There is no sensation of motion, no sense of direction, only ease. The thin atmosphere allows warmth to linger briefly, then fade without resistance. Temperature equalizes gently, never demanding adaptation. Comfort becomes effortless. Your body reaches the same equilibrium now. There is no sensation that stands out. Nothing draws attention. Awareness widens, thins, relaxes. On Mars, even shadows feel light. They stretch softly across the ground, without sharp contrast, without depth that demands focus. Light rests lightly here. As the words continue, they soften into rhythm. Rhythm slows until it no longer feels like rhythm. Sound becomes presence. Presence becomes quiet. The sense of weight continues to lighten, not by disappearing, but by becoming irrelevant. There is nothing to support actively, nothing to resist. The body rests because it can. Thoughts appear rarely now. When they do, they feel weightless too. Faint impressions that drift and dissolve without gathering substance. Nothing settles heavily in the mind. Mars exists comfortably in this near weightless state, held gently by gravity, carried quietly through space. You are held the same way now. No pressure, no strain, no effort. As awareness softens further, even the idea of lightness dissolves. There is no sensation left to compare, only rest. The planet remains calm beneath its open sky. Space holds it gently, allowing it to continue without interruption. And you rest within that same gentle holding, almost weightless, almost thoughtless, almost asleep. Rest deepens naturally. On Mars, there are places where almost nothing happens. Not because something is missing, but because nothing is required. Vast regions of the planet remain unchanged for ages. No movement draws attention. No sound interrupts the silence. Even light arrives gently without contrast. This quiet is complete. As awareness drifts inward, notice how attention begins to thin. It no longer gathers around sensations. It no longer forms clear points of focus. Presence spreads. In the thin Martian atmosphere, particles drift far apart. Interaction becomes rare. Space opens between everything. Awareness does the same. Thoughts appear less frequently now. When they do, they feel distant, like something seen through fog, already fading as it forms. Nothing needs to be followed. Your breathing remains slow and natural. Sometimes it is noticed. Sometimes it disappears entirely from awareness. Both are fine. On Mars, even time feels diluted. Days and nights continue, but without urgency, without markers that demand recognition. Time does not announce itself here. As awareness thins further, the distinction between being aware and not being aware begins to blur. There is no clear threshold, no moment to identify. This soft transition is natural. The planet exists comfortably within states that do not require definition. Not active, not inactive, simply present. Your mind mirrors this state now. There is no need to stay awake. There is no need to fall asleep. Both ideas dissolve into the same quiet condition. As the words soften, they become less distinguishable from silence. Language loses structure. Meaning loosens. Sound becomes texture. Texture becomes absence. The body remains supported. The surface beneath you continues to hold you without effort. Gravity remains gentle and constant. Nothing changes. On Mars, long stretches of time pass without events. This is not stagnation, it is stability. Stability invites rest. Awareness thins even more now. There is no longer a center to experience from. Sensation becomes vague, diffuse, almost irrelevant. You are not drifting away. You are settling in. The planet remains quiet beneath its open sky. Space holds it gently. Nothing presses inward. Nothing pulls outward. Balance remains. As awareness fades further, even the sense of fading becomes unnecessary. There is no process to observe, only rest. Almost nothing remains in focus now, and almost nothing is enough. The mind releases its final need to observe. The body continues its quiet rhythms without attention. Mars continues to exist without awareness of itself. And you rest within that same effortless existence. Awareness thinning, quiet deepening, sleep arriving without announcement. Remain exactly as you are. Your body is completely at rest now, breathing slow and quiet, supported without effort. There is no need to listen. The words no longer need to be understood. They can fade gently or pass without leaving any trace. Everything has softened. Awareness no longer gathers. Attention no longer holds. Nothing needs to be noticed. Mars rests this way. Beneath its quiet sky, the planet exists without awareness of itself. It does not observe its surface. It does not feel its gravity. It does not know the passage of time. It simply remains. This remaining does not require effort. The surface is still. The air is thin and unmoving. Space surrounds everything gently. Nothing presses inward. Nothing pulls outward. Balance holds naturally. Your body has entered this same condition. There is no need to monitor breathing, no need to adjust position, no need to remain present. Everything necessary is already happening. Sleep does not need permission. It does not need instruction. It arrives when nothing is being held. Thought has dissolved. Memory has loosened. Awareness no longer forms a center. There is no sense of being awake or asleep. No boundary separating one from the other. This is rest. On Mars, long stretches of time pass without distinction. Day and night blend. Seasons arrive and fade gently. The planet does not mark these changes. Time moves without being noticed. Your mind releases time the same way now. Minutes do not exist here. Moments do not stack. There is only quiet continuation. Breathing continues softly, or not at all within awareness. The heart moves steadily. Systems restore balance in silence. You do not need to witness any of it. As the final traces of sound fade, silence remains, not as absence, but as fullness without texture. Nothing more is required. Mars continues its slow orbit through space, unchanged by observation, unaffected by thought. Space holds it gently, allowing it to continue without interruption. You are held the same way. No effort, no awareness, no words, just rest.